Good afternoon and welcome to TalkSports. It is our weekend program and it is a first program for 2026. A warm welcome to one and all. Let me also say good afternoon and welcome to my co-host, Rudian Selvin in Toronto. Good afternoon to you, Rudian.
Pleasant good afternoon to you, Michael. Certainly, it's a historical day because this day have never happened before. So this is history for us. Talk sports have never happened on this day, on the 10th day of the 26th year. Never happened before. So this is history. So
Yep.
I'm extremely happy for that. I am extremely happy for what the new year is going to bring. And for those of you who are listening, a happy new year to you and your family, and all the best in this year.
Yeah, thank you very much. And certainly, folks, welcome. And, it's always a pleasure, being with you folks. And certainly, let's see what's in store for 2026.
It should be some exciting stuff.
Yeah.
It should be some exciting stuff. Yeah, I'm excited for this year. I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah, and so much in store for this year in particular, and then I mean not and just Grenada per se, but in the
Yeah.
region as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's 2026. It's also the 26 years since Grenada first hosted the Carifta Games. Grenada
Oh,
first hosted the Carifta Games in the year 2000, right?
26 years ago.
And yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost as if
Yeah.
almost a generation,
A
but
generation. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're getting
Certainly.
ready to host the Carifta Games at the Easter of this year, and hopefully. But first off, Rudian, what it is on your mind in terms of what you're hoping that, and when I say we, talking about in terms of sports, can
Yeah.
achieve
Yeah.
in the year
Certainly.
2026.
Well, certainly, it's an exciting year because World Cup is around the corner, and that is certainly a big one for a lot of folks. And the thing about the World Cup, it doesn't matter if you're a sports fan. When it comes to World Cup, everybody, it's like the Olympics. All eyes is on the television. All eyes is on football. Even if you're a fan or not, everybody want to see something, especially if it's their country. And it's like football is certainly is the biggest sport globally. So that is something excited to see.
Yeah.
And for sure, like I said, I'm excited to see the game, to see what will happen with our young people. Um, One of the things I'm excited to see, even through the character game, to see what happened with in Jamaica, to see how they turn around with the athletes. I heard there's some good things. That's happening, even though the school is not up and running, but there's programs running for some of these athletes where they have the opportunity to still make the character team. I'm excited to see that, because listen, after COVID and there was nothing, it's tough to be in a situation again where athletes get to sit back again. And this young athletes, they were quite young at the time. But to get to the point and there's a hurricane and the school destroy and sport doesn't look likely for them, there is a pathway, there is a way. So I'm really excited to see that for them. And just see what Grenada can do this year. We started good already. We started with a bang. Um, in terms of cricket, I know you're going to talk about it, but we started with a bang. So it's a good start. It's certainly a good start. It's exciting year, and I'm looking forward to see. And I'm really hoping, Michael, we speak about this, and I really hope someone is listening. The Parish Sports Council get things going, and get sports running in the parishes and in the communities as it should be. So I'm excited for.
Yeah, but I want to certainly want to agree with you on that in particular because we always talk about those low hanging fruits and things like that. So, and there's so many things that can be done, and there's hope that can be achieved. But while you was on that, one of the things I want to congratulate the Grenada Football Association on completing and generally their season, right? The
Yeah.
2025 season, basically almost incident free, right?
Yes. Certainly.
Which I was in discussion with someone over the past week regarding football in Grenada. And one of the things that were actually noted was that they've made a lot of strides in 2025. When you look at, well, not just the men's team, they have an unbeaten
Yeah,
record
yeah,
at home, but so many teams have been playing football, competitive football, under 17, boys, girls,
yeah,
under 20,
yeah,
and it's the development program I'm looking at, right? And
yeah.
I think that all as well. And by the way, the GFA has a right to do that because when you look at it in terms of structure, it is the only sporting association in Grenada with such a
Yeah.
structure. And
Structure.
in
Yeah.
terms of a paid staff, secretariat, its own building, I mean, not even Olympic Committee has a structure as the Grenada Football
Football
Association,
Association. Yeah.
right? They have competitions committee, they have referees committee, they have all sorts of committees. So it is almost like a page that other associations can take,
Sure. Yeah.
even though it may not be at the large scale, because obviously the GFA is funded by FIFA
Yeah.
funds, etc.,
FIFA.
etc.
Yeah.
But it's something that they can look at in terms of their development, right?
And what I like, Bascom, I remember in my young days, and you probably remember then where I was with Eagle Super Strikers, and we had a junior team or under 15 team or something like that. We had those growing up. So really, certainly to see those things are coming back again because it's very important
Yeah,
to see that. And that's how you build the sport. You have to start with the grassroots. You got to start with the young people,
right.
and then let them climb the ladder coming up. And that's really excited to see that happening. And you got to give credit where credit due, and they deserve the credit. They said there's some movements happening, there's some things happening. They are getting better from where they was. And definitely, whoever is the person on the helm, the team on the helm, have a vision for the sports, for not only for FIFA athletes, but definitely for our young Grenadian footballers.
Yeah, right. And there's one thing I want to also chat about, Rudian, is the I know we briefly talk about Kerfta. We'll come back to the Kerfta in a moment,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I also want to talk about the intercall championships, right?
yeah.
We have had some changes, dates, juggling, I should say,
Yeah.
and rightly so. Now, let me explain because you see, sometimes people get a bit,
Timid.
yeah, and taken up and emotional, and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
these
yeah,
sorts of
yeah. I
things.
love
Listen,
emotion. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
these things do happen. It can, so for example, it can be any activity because of circumstances. There can be changes, right?
Yeah.
And while the principals may not have come out at the time to explain, and understandably,
Yeah, yeah,
listen,
yeah.
you have to deal with X amount of principals. You have to get a consensus, blah blah blah, and all these sort of things. But what has happened is that there were so many changes that were taking place that they decided that, hey, it's best to shift it to that date, and then to shift it to that date after certain things that happen. So, for example, when the issue of the cricket came up, they made a decision that they should shift the date, right? The issue with the cricket,
Yeah.
that's Australia women's cricketers in the region, and apparently Grenada will be hosting the matches. So even though it's in the cricket stadium and in the track and field stadium, I think there is a thing where they don't want to have major
The
events
conflict,
clashing. Yeah,
conflict, flashing. Yeah,
clashing
yeah.
at the same time.
Such a with parking and all those different things like that. Yeah.
Right. That is understandable, right? Okay. Because as a matter of fact, when it comes to intercall, the cricket stadium is used for some logistics and other right thing. So that is understandable. So they had to make some juggling.
Adjustment. Yeah.
Then the cricket, apparently they made a decision to change the date for the cricket. So that's why the organizer decided, hey, listen,
We have to change as well.
well, not
When they
just we
change,
have to,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
let us revert to where we
Original.
designed it originally. So we can give a little breathing space to for even because remember we hosting the character games.
At the games, which
So it
is
worked it worked in their favor
favor.
when the
Yeah.
cricketers decided that they will adjust, and Intercall decided, hey, let's adjust now so that we can give them the breathing space. Simple. I don't see the whole big issues, being raised
Yeah,
about
yeah.
folks
Those things
buying
happen.
tickets. Listen,
Yeah.
yeah, but the other thing, Rudyard, is that I was reading some comments, but people don't understand. As much as the fans, I could understand the fans being emotional. The most important aspect of Intercall are the athletes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the
Without them,
welfare
there is
of the
nothing.
athletes. Without the
Yeah,
athletes,
without
there's
them, there's
nothing.
nothing. There's nothing.
So ensuring that the athletes can perform, right, and compete is
Mm-hmm.
paramount.
It is. It is.
Spectators
It's
just become
certainly.
a
Yeah.
factor because with all the athletes, you're just there and you wonder. So you
Yeah.
have to understand there will be times when there'll be juggling because between now and then, something could happen. And
Anything can
then you may
happen
have
then.
to,
And
yeah,
then,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Back
yeah,
then, how many years? 5, 6 years ago, with God forbid COVID,
yeah.
and all of that.
All
I
of
would
that.
say
Yeah.
that we had to
And if you
create.
what if you have a major rainstorm, that there's definitely
Right
cannot be done.
again.
Then you have to look at
You never,
to adjust, and then that threw everything
yeah,
off again. So there's so many things that comes with that, especially when it comes to timing and weather.
yeah.
Um, and the people have to also understand that there's also levels of power in a sense of control. The cricket stadium have a little bit over the track and field, so if they have to change, they kind of have a little bit more leverage on their side more than.
No, but at the same
But
time, Intercall is considered to be the premier
the
sporting
premier sporting event,
activity
yeah,
in
yeah,
England. That's premier.
yes, yes, it
Okay.
is, yeah, yeah,
At the same time, they wanted to make some sort of arrangement between the cricket and the track and field.
yeah.
But then also taking into consideration that we will be
Consideration
hosting
also hosting the
the
character games
character games, which will be a week, 2 weeks after. So
a
all of
week or
that
two
played
weeks,
in
10 minutes,
to the
yeah,
discussion and the final thing, right?
yeah,
Yeah. And you made the point about it can be like a storm surge, whatever, etc., etc.
yeah.
There are a couple of years ago, for example, like a music instance with character games and Bermuda, and at the last moment because of something that they had to cancel the character games. I mean, things do
Things
occur, things
happen.
do happen, right?
Haven't it? We've been to
Um,
many. I've been to many track and field meets here,
Come on,
and
I
in
mean,
the middle of the meet, one piece of storm come down, the whole thing have to cancel, lightning and the whole everything have to
yeah,
cancel. You
I
can't get
think
upset. It's part
I
of
think
it.
we have to
It's yeah,
we have to say welcome to a lot of those folks to
yeah.
high level track and field or sporting
Yeah,
events. They get a bit
they
too
love the
emotional.
yeah they don't know the technical and the breakdown of a lot of things or how it gets to the point and
Well, Rudy, and
the
yeah,
logistic part
but
about it compared to them just liking the sporting event,
and a lot
and
of
it's a
those
lot
things.
more to it.
But a
Yeah,
lot of times, I just say people just because of social media and the free willy to just type and post whatever you want.
and post
Folks
whatever
get
you want. Yeah,
carried
yeah,
away
yeah,
even
yeah, yeah,
without the facts.
yeah. Without
So
even thinking. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
just
They
emotions,
just talk. They
Yeah,
just go with the emotion
I
talk.
am
Yeah.
certain. I am certain at times they will go back and they will see their comments
They
and they
comment and they will
probably
say,
wish.
"Did I really say that?
Yeah,
Did I really say that?" Yeah, yeah,
some may delete it and some
yeah,
may feel ashamed because
yeah.
it bears no. I mean, sometimes without any rational, okay,
Yeah,
no
well,
forward
yeah.
thinking. You just at the moment just type in and just put in what you
Yeah,
believe
yeah,
you should
yeah.
say, all because you believe that.
Or
Oh,
they always, and it
I
comes to a point too, especially a lot of it too, and that's a big percentage of it is what somebody say. They don't know it for the fact. It's
yeah,
somebody
a
hear it
lot of
from
hearsay,
somebody.
a lot of
It's a
hearsay,
hearsay,
a lot of
and then they
hearsay.
type it. So yeah,
Yeah, let me say good happy New Year to two of our favorite and listeners and viewers. First off, Edwin Sam, happy New Year to you, Edwin.
Happy New Year, sir. Happy New
Very
Year.
much so, and welcome once again, and thank you for being part of the journey and continuing to be part of the journey, right? And also, Roger, happy New Year to you,
Raja,
and
Happy New Year to you, my brother.
right, and
Yeah,
certainly we look forward to you being on that journey as well. It may be rocky at times, it may be bumpy because it's not always a smooth ride, but we certainly we appreciate your company, both you, Edwin, Roger, John, all the other folks, Gordon, all the other folks. We always welcome your company. Thank you for joining us. So these are some major activities, as we say. The first off will be Intercall, followed by, in terms of major activity, followed by the Curve to Games, right? In and between, certainly we'll have a number of activities. As a matter of fact, next Sunday, God's willing, there'll be an international friendly, Grenada versus Jamaica. In fact, it is the Spice Boys versus the Reggae Boys at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium, right? That's football. Grenada is guarding its unbeaten streak at home. I think it's what, 6-7 games, right?
Yeah.
Quite a few, right? But they're coming up against Jamaica at the Kirani James Stadium on Sunday.
And then you have to look at Jamaica, who wants they are prepping to try to make the World Cup. That's really what it is. So they want to they're gonna fix some stuff, they're gonna change some stuff, they're gonna do some things. They may, and it is a friendly, they may or may not have all the guys.
No,
Same thing go
they
for
don't.
Grenada.
Yeah. So they're looking at
yeah.
It's not a FIFA window. So they have a number of, in terms of Jamaica, a number of local players, but they hope to get some from the US, right? Some of the foreign base from the US.
Some of the foreign base,
But it will be a core of their team that they are looking at for the
future
qualifiers, for the qualifiers.
Qualifiers for the future,
Yeah, because I think they have to submit the names of X amount of players to FIFA at a certain time, right?
Yeah.
And from that pool, they'll be able to take their players for the final. I think it's about 23, 20, whatever it is like that. But normally you will submit up to about 60 names, right? And out of that, you will take out.
You break it down.
So it's an opportunity for Jamaica, for a number of players to.
It's good for Grenada too. It's good for Grenada to just the name itself. They may not have all the players, but just the fact playing against Jamaica.
The thing about it in terms of when it comes to those friendly, we always say, Rudian, whether you have a full strength team or a half strength team, once you're carrying the name, right?
And a win is a win, a lose is a lose.
A win is a win, a lose is a lose, right? All we know is that Grenada is playing Jamaica, right?
That's all it is.
Grenada wins, Grenada defeated Jamaica.
Right?
Right? So whether you're playing with a full strength team or not, that's up to you.
That's up to you.
It is a recognized international, right? Happy New Year as well, Kennedy.
Happy New Year, Kennedy. Happy New Year, man.
Yes.
All the best.
And I know Edwin is trying to kind of joke Mr. Depredine on something, I don't know. Our problem is not that of compromising or just in communication. The lack thereof gives the impression of made by emotional, which can lead to unfounded, uninformed speculation. Well, in terms of the yes and no, but that's why I like to go to the source. You're dealing not with just one principal or two principals. You're dealing with the principals of all the secondary schools.
All the secondary schools. Yeah.
Yes, and at times, so for example, they have decided to come out with a statement this week. The statement was issued on Friday. Why? They had to get the consensus of the principal, all the principals, sorry, before. It's not a one-man thing.
It's not a one-man thing.
It's not a thing where just that principal can make a decision. As a matter of fact, if some of them have the will, they will just do what they have to do.
Yeah.
But out of the consensus, they have to, discuss with their peers. And to be honest with you, I'm being blunt.
Yeah. Well, Michael, let me ask you this. I know we still.
Some of the players are clueless when it comes to sports. So you have to give them some time to either consult or whatever it is. You cannot make a decision
A
for them.
decision. Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
whether you contact Principal A or Principal Z, right? You have to give them time to get back to you to come up with a decision and have your consensus. It's not a situation where. So during that time, a lot can be said, and that's why the principals were not saying anything because people were just saying things. People were posting, they were saying this. Everybody giving their views. Everybody seemed to feel that they have the answer and they know what should be done, right? Yeah, and I mean, I'm talking about because I spoke to about 3 principals during the week, right? And they were telling me basically the same thing, right? You have to go based on the consensus. You have to wait for the other principals to make a determination whether they have to consult with the games teachers or whatever it is like that. So, but you have to wait. You have to give them the time because you don't want a situation where at the end of the day you say something and then they say, "I was not aware. I was not informed." So, so they decided. As a matter of fact, I can go as far as tell you the decision to revert to the 17th to the 19th. That was decided since in December when they met. Some point, I think it was somewhere around that. After the initial post was put regarding the 24th, they met again when all the adjustments were made. So they met again, and when they had word from the cricket, then they also met with the Athletics Association regarding the Curfew Games, and that's why they came back to that thing. That was decided in December, by the way. You know. But it was decided that let the period pass because there were so many adjustments over the past
Adjustment.
that to avoid any confusion, let's start afresh in the new year.
Yeah.
So that's why it was decided that
That's why it was decided that.
it will be announced officially in the start of the new year when school
Yeah.
reopens, etc., etc. I have no qualms with that. I
Yeah.
said, and I as a matter of fact, I didn't want to go, against the wishes of the principal, right?
Yeah.
The principal decided that. I knew about it, and they said, hey, we would hold that until January when school reopens. And that's their wish. So I said, okay, no problem with that.
Yeah.
But that could have been
Because it's
announced
about
since our program, the last program we had.
the last program. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but that's besides the point. Yeah, you were saying something, Rudy. Yeah?
Is it time for us to say let's find a park and have a new track in Grenada for
Oh,
situations like this?
yeah.
It would be nice. Location is a difficult one, but like you just and listen. I said the same thing here in Toronto. As much as they say how big Toronto is, where can you build a track? Like literally, where there was one spot you can build it, but now it's a whole bunch of soccer fields, brand new soccer fields they just built. And build a brand new soccer stadium. So it's so you have that, right? But then you have the same question here, like in Grenada or any other place. Where are you going to build it? Where?
Yeah, once upon a time there was talk about doing something up at Seamoon. It's that well,
Yeah, the Simmons Park. Yeah,
I think we had the I have a copy of the plan. I think
yeah,
we had it on our sports program some time ago. I think when Mr. Simmons would have been on our program
yeah,
some years ago. Yeah, but the plan for Progress Park that would have make it into the stadium with a track, everything like that. So, right,
yeah.
lands, everything that were available.
Everything was
And
available.
people were asking the question, where would you put that? And then when they explained to them, listen, when you look at the back of Simone with the lands and things that are available there, it is possible. They surveyed it, they do everything that's possible.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's where it is for now, But
yeah.
probably something. I was so happy to see that the rebuilding of the sporting facilities in Carriacou, for example.
Yes, yes, yes.
The building of the facilities
I
in
was really
Carriacou.
happy to see that. Yeah,
I tried to tease the minister by saying, so he said phase 1, we did this, phase 2, we did this, phase 3, we did this in terms of the rebuilding after the holidays, right?
yeah.
I say probably phase 4, synthetic track. And, I was just teasing him though. probably something under consideration, but for now they're looking at the priorities, and
Yeah, 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 yeah.
because to be honest, Rudian, when it comes to sports, not just track and field, when it comes to sports,
Sports at home.
Caribou and
Yeah.
Petey Martinique have played their fair share in
Big
terms of
time.
the successes of Grenada.
Big
Whether
big
it's
time.
boxing, whether it's track and field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's cricket, it's now tennis, it's now
Football. Yeah.
yeah, golf, football, all these sporting. Somehow,
Sports.
Caribou is just even netball. Sorry, I forgot netball.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the top young goal shoots in the Southern Caribbean, not just Grenada. It's from Caracou. Yes, it's from Caracou. She shined in the CNA Junior Tournament on the whatever it is, on the 16 tournament. Sorry. Yeah, she was the best shooter in the outshining shooters from Barbados, Jamaica, all those places, right? Caracou and Petey Martinique, I want to give them that. They have made their fair share. When we look at some of the outstanding field event athletes right now in Grenada, Jamar Alves, all of them, Caracou again, So we have to give them that sort of support, and I'm hoping at some point in time when we're talking about not just upgraded facilities, but giving the best sort of facilities. In fact, phase 3 was actually the lighting. So the lighting of the mini stadium in Caracou. I would like for Caracou to have its upgraded facilities, fair share.
Yeah,
organized cricket, they have organized local football, even though it's 2 secondary schools, competitive track and field, activities in the sister isles. Give Caracou what they deserve. Okay? All right. Good afternoon. Happy New Year to you. Greetings to all. Frontliners Barbers. Thank you very much for being part of it.
It's my boy. I'm about to go see him in a few minutes.
Really?
As we're done, I'm heading there right away. I already have a schedule set already.
Right. That's good. Yeah. So that's some of those things that we're hoping come 2026, and we have to continue, Rudian, on the issue of the structure of clubs. We need to see more clubs and teams.
Yes.
Proper club structure.
Yes.
We talk a lot about it in 2025. We're hoping that.
Yeah, we're hoping that we'll see that more of that. Yeah, more of that. Yeah.
The benefits of having a proper club structure. A lot of them talk about, when you talk about the challenges they have, they'll tell you about sponsorship, right? But a lot of times,
if you don't have a structure, nobody will sponsor you.
Nobody. Come on. Yes. No one
will sponsor you. Yeah. And a lot of people will tell you that even businesses up here, as small as it is, if you don't have a business plan, nobody's going to support you. Nobody's going to give you and invest in you. No, like people wouldn't do that unless you have a proper structure in place. So I really hope that is something that they're not continue. You have to.
They have to understand that you need to have a proper structure in place.
And structure is not necessarily saying have a lot of sports, it's having a board.
Well,
and big part of it is board members.
You might say
people,
board, some people might say, strong organization.
Administration or organization. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That and administrators that know what they're doing.
Right? What they're doing, yeah.
And your administrators don't necessarily have to be the players themselves or the coach. I hate
no.
Coaches are the ones who representing players.
I see that. I see that. I see that a lot growing up. A lot growing up. So with Eagles, and I see, they
find
a
lot of folks in
the
community who are willing to take up the role
of
administrator.
Yeah.
And allow the coaches and the players to to function.
to function and do their part. Yeah.
Yeah,
You have a coach going to the meeting. You have players have to go to the meeting as well. They have to leave practice early because they have a meeting to go to. They have to do this. Yeah, there's a lot of this stuff.
you
So
can
yeah,
find people in the
you could
community.
find people in the community, and if you have to train people, you can train them. If you have to
That,
train, you can train. I know
yeah,
you don't want to. I understand that, but I'm just saying, if it comes to that, if it
but
comes to
I
that,
mean,
you cannot find somebody, then you have to.
well,
Yeah,
well, it might be a bit challenging in terms of having to train them if you already know how to do it. But the fact is, you find people who are willing and who are able, and some people who probably even have the experience already at some
yeah,
level,
at some level.
managerial level, whatever it is like that. So here is what we want to do. We need administrators to function, to run our organization, right? And you allow them to do it while you, so I can be the owner of the club, but not necessarily the president or the chairman.
The chairman,
I
certainly.
own the club, but I have people who are, you know, who are doing the function of
Yeah,
in terms of the organization of the club. I have a manager,
yeah.
I have a coach, right? I have a secretary, a president, a structure. I'm just the
Structure.
owner, right? But
Yeah.
we have people, and by doing that, I am certain you go to a sponsor will see something in that because they
Yeah,
can,
yeah, yeah.
they can discuss, they can analyze. Because most times, what you find, Rudian, is that a coach and a player, or whoever, going for sponsorship, you know what they want? They want uniform, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just want money and uniform. Just money and uniform.
Uh,
That's in terms of sponsorship. And then the sponsors will ask, well, tell me what I'm getting in return for that.
what they getting? What was the return for them?
Yeah. And you and then the discussion finish because they cannot really answer.
They cannot answer.
They have no
They cannot
experience
answer
in
that.
terms of that sort of thing. So right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we in terms of we will be probably carrying your name on the back. We'll this. Come on, man. As a sponsor, you listen to them, and then you say, okay, I'll get back to you, right? And you will be waiting to get back to them in quite a while. Come on. Yeah. Edwin, all I can say, no. I
Well,
don't have money.
I heard. Well, this is what I hear. This is what I heard of a price. That's what I
You get,
heard. I
yeah.
don't know if it's solid or if it's liquid, but I heard of a price.
No. Not so much price, when tickets will be available, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
of the price of the
So,
ticket, not
so
necessarily. Yeah,
what the last thing I let me go into my. You see, I like to I think it was Clev who had asked about that, and that was in December 19th, as a matter of fact. That was after our last program.
that's program. Yeah,
The response was tickets are on sale locally. I don't know. I have not heard anyone locally talk about I have my ticket
tickets.
for Cariftas yet, but they said
Yeah,
tickets are on sale locally on Go to Fet, right? I trying to read. January 15th at Lotto office in Grenville and in town, which is Grenadian Optical. Grenadian Optical both in town and Grandance, right? January 15th is what day? Is the day coming up in the week, right?
Thursday, Thursday,
Thursday? Right.
Thursday. Yeah,
So Edwin, Clef, and company, let's
Thursday.
wait to
Doesn't get
see what this
till
week come
Thursday.
in because the 15th is the date that was given for in terms of tickets. I don't know whether it's for locally or for they mentioned locally. So I don't know. But check Go to Fet on the 15th and see whether tickets are live, whether they're available, right? Yeah, so that's what I can tell you. Kyron, Happy New Year to you as well.
Happy New Year, Kyron.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you. I'm reading sort of blindly because the comments are coming in. Jeremy Phillip. It has been like that from since you used to play sports. It's all about the money and not about building a foundation for the players to benefit in the long run. After they get the money and the tournament is over, everything goes back to be normal with no foundation to build from it. I think Jeremy hits it right away. Right?
Okay, that's
That is the problem,
exactly that's the
Jeremy.
problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
So, and that's why you see when you have coaches and players going to represent to seek sponsorship and they cannot offer much,
Yeah.
right? In terms of a discussion, the sponsors will listen and listening out of respect most times, and then we promise to get back to them. And understandably, why they will say we'll get back to you and probably never get back to them because of things like that. You have no
Yeah.
plan.
No plan.
What are you doing? What can you tell the sponsor that they can expect during the season? Huh? How? What?
We hope for change. We hope that's a change. We want
Yeah,
to see a better structure,
yeah,
and in terms of how you know organization put the programs together, better structure, and to see something. Sometimes even if it's a Facebook or Instagram, that's a social media now. Not even that you have, where people can go and see and even see your schedule. So there's so much little you can do, even though
mhm,
you may not have the big bulk and the big broad of the spectrum of things. There's so much of the little ones you can do that not even that you can see to say yes, you have some. At least you have something. There's absolutely nothing. There's some clubs out there you can't find them nowhere more than where they're located. And if you go where they're located, you may not even see them because you don't know who in charge.
yeah, and it's so
Yeah,
troubling at times, Rudy. And when you speak to them, all they tell you, all they speak about, everything they utter is about sponsorship. We don't have
yeah.
sponsors, and corporate Grenada must do this, and corporate Grenada must do that. Corporate Grenada, yes, can do this and can do that, but I
What
mean,
are you doing?
you have to do
You,
something too.
you have to do
And,
your
and
part.
one of the things, Rudy, and I would like to see also when we spoke about it, briefly though,
Yeah,
but in 2026, these sporting associations and organizations, whatever, clubs, teams, whatever, apart from just relying on sponsorship, have their own fundraising activities.
yes.
Yeah, have their own fundraising activities.
Fundraising
And that's why
activities.
when
Yeah.
you have proper structure in place, you can have committees that can deal with that.
Hmm.
Gone are the
Hmm.
days where Queen's Park Rangers, for example, many years ago, used to have their own stalls or whatever it is when they're playing at home games,
Yeah.
you know? But that's when Queen's Park Rangers had their structure,
So structure.
president, secretary, treasurer, whatever it is. So the club itself was raising funds to assist and that can go with the whatever sponsorship money they receive.
Sponsorship
And in some cases,
terrorism.
the sponsors may be able to say, hey, we can sponsor a uniform. So this club now will embark on its own fundraising activity to have cash to do whatever they have to do
On
in terms
hand.
of
Yeah. Traveling. Yeah.
traveling,
Traveling.
equipment, all these sort of things like that. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
sometimes, you have to, and sponsors may look at that, right? Say, hey, if this club is doing that in terms of when they come to me and I ask them, well, what you're doing to, and they say, well, hey, we have our own fundraising activity, you know, every year we do this, or every month, we do something, some kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
Then they'll say,
Then it
I
shows
may
because
be
it
willing
shows
to
that
assist a
yeah,
club
yeah,
that is
yeah,
assisting.
that's willing. It's willing because it shows that you are doing something and not sitting back and you want something, happen for you.
Mhm. Um, Jeremy goes on to say, coaches do not have a long-term plan, neither a foundation building plan. We need a new mindset and approach to sports in general, and the coaches need to know it is about building a foundation that will last even when they are not coaching anymore. That not just for your own personal spotlight and to say I used to coach and I was very good at coach. We need to move away from the structure building we need. Yes, because we have this thing where at the end of the day you ask, what have you achieved? And all you can say is that I was coach of this club, I was coach of this, I was coach of that, but there's nothing there to show.
And you
Right?
look at some teams, like you look at, for example, let's look at Paradise and for what they have accomplished over the past few years.
Yeah.
And even if you go back, if you come 10 years later, you're going to hear somebody speak about Paradise.
Mhm.
And that's what you want to leave. You want to do something that leaves something lasting for the generation to come.
Legacy.
Remember, like, yeah, so remember, Paradise. They
Yeah.
may not be around. They say, but white clubs today cannot be like Paradise. White clubs today cannot be there. So you kind of, they still that taste in their mouth because people want to remember that. And I say the same thing today because, I'll go back and say, why, we don't have that local football as we used to.
Mhm.
I'm talking about just in St. Patrick's, in right there, we used to have it in the Mali Pass still. Like, why it's no longer there anymore? The field
Mhm.
is still there. Everything is still there. I mean, like, I'm just using an example. And those are the things because me as a young boy, I remember that. And that would keep the community together. Things like that. They say you go back now and they say, like, what keeping the community together? There's nothing that keeping the community together. So
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's also a fact where when you have more people involved, they keep the community together. Even though Rudy, and at the same time, you might understand that people move from
yeah,
community.
definitely.
So, so
Community and generation change and they come up with
yeah,
their own. Like, just like this era we living in, this generation is
yeah.
not like the generation that that come prior to them. They just have a different view of how to go about certain things and how they see certain things. So
Do you have
yeah,
the challenge where you return to your community and there are people you will see there probably for the first time that you don't know, or people likewise will say, I can't remember you, or this or
I
that.
can't remember you. Yeah,
Right. So
yeah.
likewise,
Likewise,
River Road
yeah,
is and I use River Road as a
yeah,
community, for example, where there are a lot of folks who come and reside in River Road because of its its location to the city.
yeah, yeah.
That's how a lot of people gravitate towards the Grandlands, the South, I should say, in particular, because the south of the island is buzzing, right? So you'll find people in different parts of the south of the island. That is understandable. Same thing was River Road over a period of time, particularly to is the city, you know. And I will go there and I will see people that I I can tell you I don't know,
No.
right? Yeah, I will tell you I don't know. I mean, River Road is big in itself in terms of
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. But
Because
you know when
I
somebody's new.
you
You
live.
know when somebody's new.
No. But I'm saying you can be living in the southern part of River Road, and there are people who have been living in the northern part of River Road for years, and you don't really know them, right? That's
Yeah.
understandable because um, they will. Well, you may see them, possibly you may see them, if probably through sports, football in particular. But again, Rangers was playing during those days. When Rangers playing, there's no way you'll see every single person because so many people coming out from the community, right? That's the other thing. But the whole thing about it is that with the generational change, people come and people go. People move from one community to the next. People come to other
Right.
communities,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
therefore the lifestyle sort of changed
Not
in a
the,
bit,
it's not the
right?
same. It's not the same.
So whereas you grew up in a community where sports
A
was
hit.
everything about sports.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you'll find after a while, it may be probably sports, a bit of pan, a bit of culture with dancing,
Yeah. Yeah.
different things, right? And when you come on sports, it might once it may be football that was dominant. Now it's divided now with football, with cricket, with track and field because of different lifestyle, different people getting
Lifestyle.
into different
Yeah.
things,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? once upon a time, when it comes to River Road, for example, it was football, right? Just you'll find the one or two little sparks in terms of cricket with the junior
Yeah,
boys,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Flash Williams and others, right? But football was the dominant sport. And then you have the little sparks in terms of the other sporting disciplines, track and field, cricket, blah, 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 and thing. Now it's spreading across. St. David's is another, for example, once upon a time, cricket. It was cricket, right? Every you go across St. David's and just all the playing fields
All the playing
playing cricket.
fields.
St. Andrews, similarly, right? Now,
Yeah.
these days, you go, track and field is big in the parish of St. David.
Yeah.
Big in the parish of St. David. St. Andrews continue to dominate, I will say, continue to dominate track and field when you look at it in a holistic point, right? They're rising now in football. They have always been dominant in cricket, right? They're rising in football. They're rising again, I should say, in football, because they have their teams now going into the Premier League, going into first, this sort of thing. And then with Paradise and all of that, right? And then you have them with track and field
Same
as
thing.
well, right?
Yeah.
Then you have other parishes again.
Same thing.
Long ago,
Yeah.
St. John's used to be, I can tell you, it was the haven for table tennis.
Yeah.
All the national players, junior and senior, came from the parish of St. John. Then
Yeah.
they had football at once upon a time. And then they will tell you basketball.
Basketball. Because
Yeah.
I know basketball.
No, I'm
You
telling
come
you.
it out. You them other sports. I don't remember them other sports. I remember basketball.
No.
I remember basketball.
But when you talk about table tennis, you talk about Waggy T and all these guys back
And all
then.
those guys in there. Yeah.
They had dominated table tennis for a while, right? In terms of schools, table tennis, all of that, right? Yeah, they were thinking with table tennis. Then basketball, even though they had one court, basically one main court, I should say.
Yeah.
And you had so many of those had facilities in St. George's and things like that. But when it comes to that,
St. John's. Yeah.
go off in particular for that.
Yeah.
Right?
It's right there. Yeah.
Then took a little slide, and then but again, it's all because of the generational gap.
Yeah.
And then folks are moving away. Folks are traveling. They're migrating. Folks are moving to other parishes. Folks are retiring. Right? They're taking a back seat. Things like that. So.
But that's why we are here, Michael, and a part of the show is to remind some of the or tell and then we hope to get a point where we can showcase some of these places that was dominating in the early days, so this generation of kids can remember, hey, we had this. A lot of them don't know that. There's so many great athletes that's coming from St. John's that they probably only know Kirani. Maybe that's the only name they know. And there's so many other greats that came from St. John's.
You have Donald Pierre, for example, who was long before Kirani James.
Yeah, and if you ask them, they may not know.
Hold on. When you talk to Kirani with Donald Pierre, Kirani will tell you, even when Donald finished run, Kirani wasn't born as yet.
No.
So he heard about Donald Pierre.
He will
tell you that he heard a lot about Donald Pierre.
About Donald Pierre, yeah.
Yeah. And likewise, and Donald Pierre was not just a Guelph or St. John's icon. He was a national icon.
Yeah.
But all because of a lot of things, the media one and social media to an extent too, that Kirani and Aline Francisque and Hazel and all of them became what they are, right? Because information was available, information was there, TV was there. You could have seen how many people saw a Donald Pierre competing on television.
Yeah.
No, Donald Pierre ran around the region, beating some of the top runners.
Top tier.
But there's no
nothing.
Israel, right? To show how Donald Pierre dominated long distance running in particular, right?
Yeah.
Middle and long during that peak.
Yeah, that time.
And that's the difference, right? That's the difference. Yeah. And hopefully we do not make that same mistake that
mistakes
Donald Pierre and others then, technology and other things have made it such easy for us to document and to talk and to archive.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
sometimes,
You
even
know,
with that, we tend to forget that.
no, we do. Michael, listen, I post a clip that I get from somewhere else. The St. Patrick's development post something of all the queens, even though they win a crown or not, from all the queens, and they see
Mm,
their names and they see that. And those are the little things we're talking about. Yeah, you pass it over social media, but those are the things remembering, a lot of the greats of the parishes, not only in carnival, but in sports and definitely in education too, and in terms of what they have gone and achieved in their life. We got doctors, we got lawyers, we got all these things in them. You know, if you ask many of the people of St. Patrick, do you know that we had a prime minister? They're gonna say, well, who? Tillman Thomas, he's from the parish. A lot of them don't know that. And then, so you said, does it fall on the educators? Are they educating the kids the right way? Is the right people seeing to it that the information get to the young generation today? That is something we have to also think about.
yeah, yeah. All right. Well, one of the things that we can talk about too, to let you know that it's we should have well, I have not seen anything, any posts or whatever it is, but the Adrian Mitchell Open, the Adrian Mitchell Invitational at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Um, it's in honor of the late Adrian Mitchell, former sports minister.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So it's organized by the Grenada Athletic Association. We have the Charlie George, we have the Neville Glean, right? And
Yeah.
there's also Adrian. The Neville Glean, I think, went already, if I'm not
Went already.
mistaken.
It was in
Yeah,
it was
right.
in
So we do
in
have the
December. Yeah.
right. So we do have the Adrian Mitchell Invitational on today at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. So, folks, if you're monitoring, especially in Grenada, you can head down and support and even see some of our top athletes. We have a couple of meets leading up to the intercall, right? Um, and certainly that's a primer for some of them. By the way,
Yeah, there's
Rudian,
something. So,
um,
yeah.
it's another way where I think it was it last year or year before? Well, whatever the first year that GBSS had their meet that early. And then we spoke to the coach
Yeah.
and he spoke about the advantage.
The
Because
advantage.
right now, schools are preparing for their school meet.
Yeah.
In the case of the GBSS, they held theirs a couple of weeks ago, in
A
fact,
couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
right?
This is December. Yeah.
So they are now looking at shaping their team. So their focus now
They
is just on
focus on get
preparation.
preparation of the other team so they can go to a lot of these other little meets
Yeah,
and do a lot of these things as well. Yeah.
yeah. But at the same time, the schools that don't have their meet as yet, they probably have not selected their team as yet. They have to be even guarded in terms of their athletes and how much they can do, how much, when they peak, all these sort of things. Now, it's a situation where for schools that already had their meets, they are now focused on preparation and using the meet as a means of preparation.
Preparation.
We
Yeah.
asked if that is possible. I think Mr. Andal, the principal of the McDonald College, said it's something they may consider, right? If I'm not mistaken. He did some pros and cons. But I wouldn't be surprised that most schools, Rudy, consider having their meet a bit
Early.
earlier. So in the
Yeah.
case of the discussion in terms of when intercall should be, whether it's the 17th or the 20 something, that's not a bother for schools that have their meets already, because
That's true.
they're already in preparation mode.
They're already
So that
preparation mode.
don't really affect them.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, intercall could be next week, could be next month for them. You
And
understand?
and they're ready. Their schools are
And
ready.
they're ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it comes with, sometimes it has that advantage, right?
That
In that
advantage. Yeah. Yeah.
you have your meet as early as possible and you put your athletes in a preparation mode
Preparation
so
mode.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
prepare them for any eventuality. So
Yeah.
if for some reason they decide intercall is next week, next month, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from
They're
now,
ready. They're
they're
ready.
ready.
Yeah, they're
So
ready.
yeah, so when I don't think that is what the school was thinking about the time.
No, 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 no. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't
But
think that is what
they just had a. It works for them, and it works well for them, and
and
it's good.
I
And yeah,
think it may work for other schools in the future that they can start, hey, because when as it is now, you start juggling with so many activities for this time of the year. Not just your secondary schools, right? You have the primary schools as well,
yeah.
right? And in some instances, it means that you have to coordinate with the ministry in terms of the
To
availability
get
of
the
grounds.
fields. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Other sporting activities. So as a matter of fact, even the independence activities sometimes have to be curtailed in terms of independence cricket and this and that
Yep, yep.
because of so many activities taking place in the first
Taking
quarter of the year.
place in the first quarter of the year. Yep.
Yeah. So if you
Yeah.
can get that out of the way,
It
it
helpful for you. Yeah,
helps.
it's helpful for you. It helps for you.
It helps.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Rudian, we have some comments here. Oh, Roger, we probably have not gone searching for visuals of dollar paying competition. There are probably videos in regional countries where he competed. Probably
Probably
black
is.
and white.
Yeah.
Roger, we may have to do that. I may probably ask a friend in Trinidad if they can look into the archives. Trinidad and Tobago, they have national archives, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
they have the national archives. In fact, during their independence, they normally would put up things from the national archives.
Wow.
Rudy, and some of those things actually in black and
Wow.
white. So
Wow.
you can guess how long ago
Yeah.
those things were.
Wow.
Black and white, right? For example, we don't have videos. We may have a picture of the hoisting of the Grenada flag on Independence Day in 1974 or whatever, or midnight when you bring
Yeah.
down the Union Jack and you bring up the Grenada flag. We don't have video of that.
Yeah.
I have not seen video of it.
Look
Right?
at that. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I saw some photos here and there and things like that. So, right? But we're talking about National Archives, right? And it's probably something we may have to inquire about. Regarding that. Clev is saying, I made a suggestion a couple of years ago to unfold banners during our independence ceremony of athletes who made a difference throughout the years. It can change from year to year and will cost less than a drone display. Let the young people ask, who is this? Then we educate. But not just, you see, I agree, but I want us to also understand that sometimes when we say athletes, people get the impression that we're talking about track and field, okay? If it's independence and we're talking about our sportsmen and sportsmen, it should be across the board.
Across the board.
Right. So I hope the athletes is a general term used. It should not just be track and field, because we have people who have done a lot for Grenada over the years in various sporting disciplines, not just track and field. Albeit some of them may have excelled in both. When we talk about, some of those who would have played both football and cricket, and in some instances, I think three sporting disciplines, as was the case when we was discussing it on our program sometime last year, when one of those were telling us that they have folks who competed in football. Or it was Ali Dibella that was talking about those things. Yeah. He was talking about people who have competed. He called some names, of people who have competed in 3-4 sporting disciplines, at the national level, right? Yeah. We spoke about the late Sampat Habib, for example, football and cricket, right? And he said Sampat was good in another sport, so I think, I think, Clever saying is the general, right? Yeah, so yes, he's saying it's the general of all sports, right? So yeah, because there are a lot of folks, for example, and Clef should know that, for example, the carnage, the wharf, the carnage sports, when they had a number of players, national players, I should say, national footballers who represented Grenada, and outstanding players. They had never had the opportunities as how guys are having the opportunities now.
Yeah.
If they had those opportunities then, they would have been
Wow.
professionals,
They'd
right?
have been professionals. Yep.
Skillful. I mean, and I'm talking about the Carnage. You're talking about whether it's River Road. You're talking about St. Patrick. You're talking. I know guys in St. John's, for example. I'm trying to remember some of the names. And then you have the Marcus. All these guys, man. So many of talented guys played football. Some of them played cricket, right? And then track had its own, but albeit, we got a sort of a lift, as they would say, in the Aline Francisque
Yeah.
and Randy James and them era. But track and field, it was always there in terms of the competitiveness. They have some of those guys who ranked among the best in the region in those days, right? Um, yeah. So, hi, John. Good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon to you and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, good afternoon, John Ockley. He's always around. Yeah. So, Rudy, and we're looking forward. So, come next week, God's willing, we start off with our guests, right? We start having our guests. Today was basically the icebreaker, the opener, welcoming and just chatting, but we have a lot to discuss.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I know one of the things that we have to do, we have to get on those folks regarding the tickets for in terms of the intercall, we'll have folks from the intercall. They don't shy away from us. Once we let them know that we're ready for them, they will come
Oh
on.
yeah,
They'll answer
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
that. So, and then we'll have the folks, hopefully from the character. But all we're interested in now is knowing when the
Tickets
tickets
available.
and not just the tickets, but we want to know about. The question was asked about the seating, which is very important. When you buy a ticket, especially for a stadium, and an international stadium was Grenada. I mean, someone shouldn't buy a ticket for the stand, for the bleachers, and end up in the stands. And
Yeah.
if you buy, the bleachers is open, but if you buy a ticket for the main pavilion, you should be able to buy a ticket. If you're buying finish line, you should be able to buy. You should be able to go on and say, "Hey, I finish line 10A." It's almost as your seat on the
You
airline.
sit on the
Yeah,
airport. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, because I can go and buy a ticket for the finish line and sit there, and then somebody could come after and say, "But I bought one for you too, and this is the seat I actually." But then, here's my ticket showing that I
Yeah.
am assigned 10A, right?
If you
And
get
you
up and go to the washroom, somebody sitting in
and
your
somebody
seat.
sitting in
Snooze, you
it.
lose. Yeah. Yeah.
That is the problem. So I think it's correct for folks who are paying high bucks in particular, and they're requesting that the seats are labeled and the tickets are sold accordingly. I think it's fair game.
I think it's fair too.
Because you made a good point there, Rudian. I can be sitting in 10A, get up, go to the washroom or to the stall to get something to eat and return, and someone is in my seat.
Somebody's in the seat. Yeah. And it's
And
like,
that also, hey, I
snooze, you
bought the
lose.
finish line as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Snooze, you
I say,
lose. Yeah.
here, but I was sitting here. And they said, no,
Yeah.
I'm not moving. I came there and I saw the seat empty. But then
Sit
I
there.
can see,
See.
here's my ticket. It says 10A. I'm sitting in 10A. You're
Like
probably
going to,
10,
like, yeah,
10F
it's
or
like,
something.
remember, Michael, we reached a point where it's like going to a movie theater. Same thing. You have a
Yeah.
certain spot that you have to sit down in a movie theater. It shows you on the ticket. You can be
I don't
select, yeah.
know. I don't know what is taking long in doing that because I know it's something that
And
they don't really.
some of those seats have numbers on them. Those seats
Yeah.
have numbers on them.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So it's just a matter of, because I recall with the invitationals, for example, that was something that was done. You bought the tickets accordingly in terms of the seating, right?
The seating
So
and, and
yeah,
available, yeah.
so it's possible it can be done. And I have seen, for example, at the last character games held in Grenada in 2024, I was there, right? And I saw some issues with the seating, when there were well, to be honest with you, I brought it to the attention of I don't want to repeat it, to an executive member of the Athletic Association who got a bit upset about it. But I said, hey, it's something that can be done to avoid that, right? Because those folks bought the seat. Well, yeah, they had tickets. They left after one session and came back, and there were people sitting there, right? So that created a sort of thing, and at one point in time, as if they wanted to knock, as we'll say. The police got involved. We discussed it, one. So I brought it to the attention calmly to an executive member, said, hey, this is something that can be avoided, blah, 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 and things like that. So here's some that can be done. But they got upset about that and things like that. So they didn't understand what was going on until I think one of the police officers explained to them, well, hey, yeah, this was a serious problem there and things like that. So, but that is what I'm trying to explain there, that you buy seats, well, as we say, you get up, you move, you go to get something to eat, you go to the washroom, you come back and somebody come and they say, hey, seat is free,
Yeah, lose you lose, yeah.
Yeah. So as Clem is saying, that it was not a problem during the invitation because we ensured, because we saw that would have been an issue, and thing. Overselling is also an issue. They also need to fix the no entry rule. No one likes being held hostage at the stadium for over 8 hours a day. Happy New Year to you, Nerissa. Tell me, Nerissa, that's Intercall, Carifta, which one are you talking about? I believe that no entry and being held hostage for the stadium for over 8 hours a day, that could be Intercall, right? That could be Intercall probably on the final day. that song has Intercall on the final day. But yes. I just showing you Rudian, something is missing on Rudian's desk. Call name, I'll whistle. I will tell you, Roger. I'll tell you, Roger. He has it. Well, no, not he has it. He got it. And somehow it arrived broken. So we have to get him a new one. So yeah. Oh, they're speaking about Carifta. Right, Carifta. Wow.
I think once you have a ticket, you should be able to go in and out. There should be an exit and an entrance.
Okay, we couldn't exit for Carifta either. They emptied the stadium. Yeah. I think that was a thing. Yeah. I recall when the police came up once and asked the folks to leave the stadium. And there was this thing, and then the police said they were only going based on instructions. Because remember, they were trying to, did they do that? Trying to sell tickets based on the session.
The session.
Session 1 and session 2 and all of that. And I remember there was this, hey, listen, sell it by the day. Because you sell it by the session, you can have someone coming from all the way in St. Andrews, coming down.
Just for day, just for, which is 4 hours, 3 hours,
and then go and then have to, no. And go to come back for session 2 and this sort of thing.
And that's why you sell food. That's why you people could sit in there, people could eat.
So that's another thing. We have to take note. I hope if we don't remember.
I remember.
Nerissa and those folks will bring it up when the folks come on, because that session
was
very confusing. It caused a lot of problems, right? And things like that. So they said for security reasons. There were a lot of restrictions. But by the way, they did say no bells and whistles, but you remember at the same time you had the Junkanoo, right? The Junkanoo provided, as she said, we relied on the Bahamians to play the Junkanoo, right? They provided the musical entertainment, as we would say, right? And that's why I decided to sit there to the Junkanoo, right? For all my years going to the Carifta games, Rudy, I always follow the Junkanoo, right? In fact, I used to go to the Bahamas even.
Bahamas, yeah.
This year I followed the Junkanoo. The Junkanoo, and I was asking one of the journalists, for example, which are the bands that will be coming to Grenada, I think like that. Well, it's not just the band; they take players from various
Yeah,
parts.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the Junkanoo is big, right? But you made an important point there, Narissa, that yes, there were discussions about the whistles and this, that, and then folks were saying, why say they can't? And then you have the Junkanoo, and then I think the next day they allowed some drummers and they allowed, sometimes they say all sorts of things, right? And then they have to renege on those things because people will put up resistance.
Can kind of throw them out because if you have an like I said in international, you have somebody from a different country coming in or a group, and they have this stuff. It's hard to say, okay, you can,
Yeah, but
you can,
yeah, and
yeah,
they
yeah.
go and listen. It's traditional that the
It's a
Bahamians
traditional, yeah.
travel
They
for
travel, yeah,
years now. They travel with a Junkanoo band,
yeah.
whether they're hosting or they're not hosting. They travel with a Junkanoo band. They get permission. As a matter of fact, they get permission, right? So it should have been, you know, it should have been common sense at the time that hey, once we give the Junkanoo permission, we should at least relax some things for our local
Relax for locals, yeah,
come to support. Of course, you cannot come with weapons. Having a drum, having whistles, probably you might say no whistles around the starters area, and that is understandable.
yeah, yeah.
You can't blow whistle in the starting area, things like that. So, um, you know, and these days, Rudian, you can tell me no whistle, and I can come with my phone, and my phone has a whistle on it.
They put up a whistle on it.
The phone has a
Like
whistle
it's
on
like,
it.
and
So
remember, everywhere you go to an international football game, there is whistle. Sometimes the players get mixed up with a whistle. The
you
ref
hear,
whistle at somebody
listen,
whistle.
Rudian in the 87 minutes, in the 87, 88, 89 minute of play, you start hearing whistle blowing.
Whistle blowing.
Understand? Even
Yeah,
international. I was looking at a game this morning, and you hear the whistle blowing,
yeah,
and you're talking about at the highest level,
yeah.
whistle blowing. So
Whistle
sometimes when
blowing.
you hear these
So
things, you wonder who it is that coming up with these things. Whistle. I mean, a whistle, man. You
yeah,
coming in, you go into the stadium, and with your
yeah.
phone. Just now they probably tell you no phones allowed
No
because you can
phone.
go into the stadium, and you
Yeah.
can have all sorts of things on your phone, right? So it's like telling me no
Listen,
flashlight.
Michael,
It's like, hold
we
on,
had a
Julian. It's telling me no
there's
flashlight.
no flashlight.
And you have your phone. And you have your phone, eh? What your phone has.
Yeah, flashlight. Like there's so many different things that we have to look at on a higher level because we have to do a big discussion
Yeah.
of when the kids run track and field here, taking off the top. If they take off the top, they get disqualified. But they do it on the world. They do it on the world level. Guys rip up their uniform. They do it. So it's like if we still follow the world athletics rule on the high school level, but we're limiting it to certain things. So it's kind of hard.
And
It's hard.
as Rudian say, sorry, Clef says, they do those things, and when time to start, you say starters
They're
order.
silent.
You say,
Yeah, they're
you ask for
silent.
silence.
Yeah, they're silent. Yeah,
Silence,
and they do
please.
say silent. Yeah,
And people do silent. Yeah,
and they
we
do
see it,
silent. Yeah,
and you
yeah, they're
say,
silent. Yeah,
you know. And as a matter of fact, remember, even the starter will have a megaphone,
yeah,
and you hear them,
microphone, and he will say
and
start. Yeah,
you hear him say, at the starter's order, silence, please.
yeah.
And people do silent. And as soon as one, you're hearing the whistle, you're hearing the
Noise,
drumming, you're hearing everything.
noise. Yeah,
Simple. So you don't have to
yeah,
ban these things. Listen, there are certain
yeah.
things that you can, because there
You
are certain
can
things
ban.
that
Yeah,
you're not allowed in those public facilities, right? There are things, period, that you don't allow, right? And those things are common, they're known. Generally, at a sporting event, people come there to have fun, to cheer by
to chair.
whatever means necessary.
Yeah,
A man would not, if someone shows up with a knife or cutlass,
it's a different
that
story. That's a
that's what
different
I'm
story.
saying. That's
Yeah,
different.
it's a different
That's
case. Yeah,
different. You compare a man with a whistle compared to a man with a knife
no, with a
or
cut with a knife. Yeah,
and
yeah.
one with a whistle. Come on, man. Yeah. So yeah. So we look at finally. Remember Otto was making a pitch if asked to be there. Any update? Nothing I can say as yet, but
Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Yeah,
something I plan to follow up on this
yeah,
week, right?
yeah.
I know about the broadcast in particular, it's taking shape. in terms of the commentators, I can tell you we'll have top class commentators for the broadcast. That aspect, we'll have top class, not just commentary, but in terms of the quality, we'll have that as well. I can tell you that it's taking shape. It's coming on, right? I just follow up on the Atto thing because yes, Atto did make that request. Okay, Rudian, Narissa, Cleve, John, Roger, Edwin, Jeremy, everyone. Thank you for being part of our program for
thank
this
you.
weekend. Next weekend,
Yeah.
we're moving on next weekend.
We're moving on. We're moving on with the driving seat.
Most likely, we play by air. I know we have a football game next Sunday, so the Saturday we may have some little football to talk about and things like that. So, but I know we're getting into the
and I certainly will be with you as it is my birthday on Saturday, but I surely not. I will be here with you.
You can't
I will be here with you. I will be here with you.
I have never excused myself on my birthday, Rudian, so you can't.
No. I don't walk on my birthdays. I'm certainly not walking, but I'm surely will be with you next week. Even if I'm away, I will be here. I'll be here with you.
That's what Roger is telling us. Eating some oil. I'm sorry about that, folks. Roger. All right, because we're getting close to the independence as well. Grenada's independence.
Yeah. We're getting closer and closer.
Even though I want to talk some football at some stage, this time of the year a chunk of our program dedicated towards track and field because
it's with school sports, especially a lot of school sports, intercall, the build up towards intercall, and then and then the character games. So
we'll be doing a lot of that. Yeah.
And just before you go, Michael, congratulations to Grenada's cricket team for winning. Certainly, right? The women's definitely start the year with a bang. We start the year with a bang. So let us continue, Grenada. I'm so proud for that, and so let us continue.
Hopefully we see a couple of Grenadian picks. Windward Islands team,
and that Windward Islands team,
Yeah. I know they're going into the West Indies tournament sometime later this month, so the team should be announced sometime this weekend.
This week. Hopefully, we might see.
It was good to see Afi Fletcher.
Oh man,
Afi's age.
She was a beauty. She was a beauty. Oh my gosh!
Take that form into the West Indies tournament.
She was a beauty.
Hoping that she can take that form because Grenada played on.
Listen, they said something about sports, Michael, in terms of sports like some basketball, not much on the soccer, but even like cricket and track and field, the field part of track and field. They say the older you get is the better you become. You're more wiser. You're more a better understanding of the sport. And definitely,
What's this girl from New Zealand, Valerie, whatever, right? I mean, look at her age.
At her age.
I agree with that.
So certainly you see that in cricket as well as in track and field, but the field part in track and field, that the older you become in the field aspect is the most you better you become. The most,
That's why I sort of disappointed with some of our West Indies cricketers, especially those who decided, for some reason,
to cut it short early.
And they decided to go on to franchise cricket, right? So they announced their retirement from international.
West
Indies, and go on to franchise cricket, and then people blame the cricket board. They blame
cricket board for that.
Understand that the players make themselves available when they want. So some players say, "Hey, I'm not playing Test cricket. I'm retired from Test cricket. So I'm only playing the shorter form. These sort of things like that. So the selectors have to.
Nothing you can do. Nothing you can do.
Have to do with what. And they have to do with what they have. And people sometimes blame the board, they blame the selectors, they blame the coach, they try to blame everyone except the players.
The players,
when in truth and in fact, the players making themselves.
The players are the one that make the choice.
And I mean, they have the right to, but I
Yeah,
mean,
no, no, more definitely. Yeah.
yeah.
However,
I
yeah,
hear players now talking about, they didn't like how they were treated or they were discarded. There was this, that, the other. And then when you look back and you realize that these players were making themselves unavailable every time they up for selection, they were saying they're not available. They have emergencies. They have this.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
unavailable because of personal reasons. They this, that, and then they decided now. The selectors decided, hey, let me move past these players because we cannot rely on them. So let
yeah,
us look for others, and they have to work with the others.
yeah,
That's how it
yeah,
is, Julian.
yeah.
Brilliant. So enjoy the weekend, folks.
Certainly, it was a
Yeah.
pleasure. It was good to be back. A happy new year. We started with a blast, and it certainly shall end with a blast. And we're gonna go through the year gracefully. We hope we get some of our answers, our questions answers
Yeah.
by some of the administration. But certainly, I'm looking forward to it. Definitely.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you very much, Rudy.
All right. Thank you very much, man.
All right. Then. So that's Rudy and Sylvan, our co-host in Toronto. And thank you very much, folks, for being part of our program, our first program for 2026. Start off with a bang. We start very early this year. Normally, we start towards the middle or towards the end of the month of January. But this time we say, hey, let's start a bit early. And yeah, we are 2 weeks inside of January. Yeah, it's almost like the first weekend officially because the last weekend was holiday type weekend. So it's almost like the first official weekend of January. So we basically will have 4 programs, if you mind, 4 programs in January. 10th, then we have the next one will be on the 17th. Yes, we do have one on the 17th, and then we also will have on the 24th, and then the last one will be on the 31st, right? So we actually have 4 programs in the month of January. That's a lot. Yeah, yeah, right. Okay, so just for folks who may have missed, let me see, there are certain things that we spoke about during the start of the program, right? And we hoping that come at least by the middle of the year, we can achieve some of those things, right? Um, and we're working with some of the sporting associations, I should say, that we'll try to have someone representing the association, whether it's the president or the secretary from most of the sporting associations in Grenada, giving them the opportunity to come and discuss, talk about what they are doing, what they're hoping to do, what they have achieved, etc., etc. Right? We have contacted some have agreed, just in terms of deciding on the time, right? But as we indicated, because this time of the year, particularly the first part of the year, is so congested with sporting activities, so many sporting activities, particularly with track and field and with the intercall coming up, and then we'll have so many schools having their sporting activities, and then we have right after intercall, we have Carifta, so we'll be talking a lot about that in terms of not just the preparation but the logistics and all of those things. In terms of both Intercall and Carifta. We are hoping that we can get all these things in. Also, what I want to say is that we may also try to have, because we may be so congested, that either we extend the time of the program on a Saturday or we try to have a midweek program, right? A midweek program, particularly in the evening, right? Probably Wednesday evening, because when we started off, we had a Wednesday night program as well. So we may go back to the Wednesday night program, have a Wednesday night program, and then have a Saturday program, or we just extend the Saturday program. But these are things that we also looking at because it's so much to discuss. That we will have to find some time to see how we can fit in some of those things. Things that may be taking place on a Saturday, for example, we may want to discuss it on the Wednesday night program, and things like that. So, right? So thank you very much, folks. That's all for now. So much a pleasure, having you around. And looking forward to your company come next Saturday, God's willing, same time. Remember, we starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time, which is 12 noon, high noon, as we say, Eastern time, because of the time zone. When we move spring, when we get into spring, then we'll just start at 1 o'clock, which will be Eastern time and Eastern Caribbean time. For now, it will be at 12 o'clock Eastern time, which is 1 o'clock Eastern Caribbean time. So until then, do have yourself a pleasant weekend.